How do we make this sound like this? When there's not a whole lot of this. I'm going to show you how next.
All the little things aren't little after all. They all add up, even though they're small. We recommend you don't deny them. Get off your ass and try them. They're bigger than you think. The little things.
The days of having a recording budget to camp out in a studio at $2,000 a day are all but gone. So what do? This. We've recorded some drums at a home studio and we're only using 6 mics. One on the kick, the snare, the rack tom, the floor tom, and 2 overheads. With no room mics, here's how it sounds. Welcome back from vacation, Sumner. Now please, roll it for real. Now, without adding any reverb or any drum samples, let's give this some big room ambience like John Bonham. Okay, so the first thing I've done, this is the kick drum track. I've made MIDI notes of each kick drum hit. As you can see here, the way we do it in Cubase, we slide this threshold until it recognizes each one of these kick drum hits. This stuff like this is just bleed. What I do then is I hit create MIDI notes, and what it'll do is go through and everywhere it's detected a kick drum will make a MIDI note. I've done that to the kick, the snare, the left and right toms, and that's all. Once I've done that, I've put them in a channel all together, and I'm using Superior Drummer 3. This is called Big Rock Drums. It's actually for Easy Drummer, but you can use Easy Drummer packs inside of Superior Drummer 3 as well. That is what the cover looks like. If I go to my mixer, the only things that are up in my mixer are overheads, ambient close mics, ambient far mics, tape, and compression. So, none of the close mic sounds that I would get from this sample set will be audible. Only the room mics that are back in this cartoon somewhere. So, all by itself, the sample room mics I'm using sound like this. Now, also with this, I have a little bit of delay like you would hear on When the Levee Breaks. The only thing that I'm using from these samples are the rooms and the delay. All ghost notes, air moving, transients, close mics come from the tracks of drum set. Exactly how I played it. Now let's add our room mics, our ambient far, ambient close, and our delay, and together we have this. Now, we're listening and we think, that's just a little bit too John Bonham-y. Let's go to Vancouver, to Bryan Adams' studio, and listen to what his rooms sound like. Here's Bryan Adams' room by itself. Same concept, only room mics, no close mics. Together with our close mics, we have this. Let's see how it sounds at Sound City, where Nirvana recorded Nevermind, Tom Petty recorded You Don't Know How It Feels. This is the Gretsch kit that was recorded in Sound City. This comes from Addictive Drums. They call it the Fairfax kit. Here is that room by itself. Again, only our room and a little bit of overhead mic. Together with our real drums, we have this. Now, you've probably noticed in these samples, there are no crash cymbals or hi-hats. Now, there's a good reason for that. Because in the real world, when a drummer's playing in a room and they hit a crash cymbal, the room mics explode, and normally the mix engineer has to duck it. And then as the cymbal starts to decay, he can bring it back up. That also kills the room sound of your kick, your snare, your toms, what else is going on there. So the advantage to this is you can crank your room as loud as you want to get full impact out of your drums without ever having to worry that a loud crash cymbal or hi-hats are going to overload your room mics. I've also played a shuffle groove. You know, let me stop really quick and say, I'm not trying to get the exact drum sound of John Bonham. I don't even know what that is, because record to record it changed, and song to song on records it changed. What I'm trying to do is create the essence of something like that you can do at home, so you can have big boomy rooms without going somewhere and spending $2,500 a day. So let's listen to a pseudo Fool in the Rain beat with a pseudo John Bonham sound. These were not acrylic Ludwig drums and big Paiste cymbals. We're not doing all that. We're trying to get the essence of how to create something like this at home or in the studio. Again, you don't like that? You want to go to Brian Adams' studio in Vancouver? Take it away, Brian. Or maybe what it sounds like at Sound City out in LA. Again, all we're doing here is using ambient samples, no close samples on any of this stuff, to create a larger room than the room that we recorded it in. And if you really wanted to get crazy, you could use the kick ambience of this kit, the snare ambience of this kit, and the tom ambience of that kit. All this to say, there are some huge advantages to recording dry drums this way and adding rooms later. So, for a relatively small expense, you can have a huge variety of rooms to record your drums in every time you're making music. Now, you don't need every sample library with room sounds that's available out there, because after a while they all start to sound the same anyway. Think about it like this: if you have 3 huge rooms, 3 medium rooms, and 2 small rooms to choose from, that's more than any one incredible recording studio on the entire planet. With 5 ex-wives, finances are tough around the doctor's mansion. Please hit subscribe below to help out. I thank you, my attorney thanks you, and all 16 of my children will thank you this Christmas. Thanks for watching Music Surgery with Dr. Bob. In music and in life, the little things aren't little after all. They all add up, even though they're small. I'll see you the next time the doctor's in.
All the little things aren't little.